You earn well, work tirelessly, yet at the end of each month you stare at your account wondering, where did all my money go? This familiar sensation that troubles you so deeply has a name, and it is not a character flaw. It is the result of a system that taught us to confuse motion with progress, haste with efficiency. Before we continue our conversation, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave your like. This space was created for women and men who value a life well lived, far from the vulgarity of reckless consumption. I grew up torn between two worlds, the American, which celebrates abundance, and the Japanese, which reveres emptiness. When my grandmother Akiko taught me about harahachibu, stopping eating when we are 80% satisfied, she was not speaking only about food. She was teaching me about boundaries, about the elegance of knowing when enough is enough. The third wound is financing, that seductive American illusion that has trapped millions in our consumer culture. Nearly 3/4 of Americans have an overspending problem, while more than half admit to spending recklessly. Often, people resort to impulse purchases or use consumption as a way to deal with stress, sadness, or other negative emotions. "It fits in the budget" has become the most dangerous phrase in our financial vocabulary. Because when we add up all the fits in the budget, we discover our budget burst long ago. 1 in 3 Americans admit they have made a purchase in the past year that they knew they could not afford when they bought it. My father, who worked in the restaurant business, faced difficulties in the 1990s and again in 2008. He taught me that cheap ingredients cost dearly, on the plate and in life. The same logic applies to finances. Small, unconscious purchases transform into major problems. But how can Japanese minimalism heal these wounds? At my walnut dining table every Friday, I practice kakebo while sipping bancha tea from white porcelain. This ancestral ritual of financial organization has brought me more clarity than any sophisticated spreadsheet. Because the problem is not technical, it is emotional. Since returning from Japan in 1992 with only 2 suitcases, I have observed our unhealthy relationship with money here in Los Angeles. I see architect friends buying their 3rd dinner set to impress guests who never come. I know brilliant attorneys who finance shoes over 12 months because it fits in the budget. But does it really? The first wound through which we bleed money is shopping as emotional anesthesia. Compulsive buying disorder has a lifetime prevalence of 5.8% in the United States general population. Yet surveys report more than 50% of people in the United States engaged in retail therapy to improve their mood. We shop when sad, frustrated, or simply bored. That blouse that will save our wardrobe, the course that will revolutionize our career, all of this hides a void that no product can fill. American women are 61% more likely than men to say they shop and spend money to improve their mood, with 63.9% of women engaging in retail therapy, compared to 39.2% of men. A former client approached me desperately after spending 3 months' salary in a single shopping afternoon. She had argued with her husband and decided to treat herself. When she arrived home with bags of things she did not need, she felt not relief, but amplified guilt. What she truly needed was not for sale anywhere: self-understanding. In 2008, I lost everything in the financial crisis: apartment, investments, the identity of being successful that I had built through possessions. It was devastating, yet also liberating. I learned that our true wealth resides in our capacity to begin again, not in what we accumulate. The second wound is status as social survival. Women control an estimated $31.8 trillion of worldwide spending, yet we live in a society where appearing successful became more important than being well. The latest car, designer handbag, Instagram-worthy travels, all of this costs more than money. It costs our peace. Women spend an average of $44.43 per shopping trip, compared to $34.81 for men. We have been conditioned to believe that our worth is measured by what we purchase, what we display, what we post. But true elegance whispers, never shouts. First, through Danshari, the art of refusing, discarding, and separating. Not just objects, but financial habits that imprison us. When practicing this philosophy, I ask myself, does this serve my life, or does my life serve this? Minimalism is not about deprivation. It is about clarity. When we eliminate excess, we see what is essential. My wardrobe of 33 pieces that coordinate with each other brings me more security than my former overstuffed closets. My 5 pairs of shoes, each with a specific purpose, give me more freedom than old collections ever did. Second, through the concept of MA, the empty space that gives meaning to what exists. In finances, this means valuing what we have instead of chasing what we lack. My mother, who worked in fashion business, became ill in 2012 precisely because she did not understand this concept. She accumulated clothes like someone accumulates insecurities. Today, at 80 years old, she maintains a wardrobe of 20 carefully chosen pieces and has never felt more elegant. I practice Kakebo not as a method of saving, but as an exercise in self-knowledge. Each notation reveals not only where money goes, but why it goes there. It is emotional archaeology disguised as domestic accounting. Third, through wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection. Japanese philosophy encourages us to focus on hidden blessings in our daily lives and celebrate how things are, not how they should be. This means accepting that our financial journey need not be linear or perfect. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn, each scar a mark of wisdom. The secret lies not in earning more, it lies in needing less. Not from scarcity, but from abundance of purpose. When we know exactly what makes us happy, we spend less on frustrated attempts at happiness. My son Kenji, now at university studying civil engineering, grew up witnessing this philosophy in practice. At 21 years old, he accomplishes something many adults cannot, distinguishing between wanting and needing. This is the greatest inheritance I can leave, not material goods, but mental clarity. In our consumer-driven culture, we have confused having more with being more. But research reveals the opposite. Approximately 1 in 20 individuals suffer from compulsive buying disorder at some point in their lives, and nearly half of Americans have missed paying a bill at some point because of non-essential spending. We are drowning in abundance, yet feeling empty. Money that disappears at month's end does not vanish by magic. It seeps through cracks in our unconsciousness, through holes in our emotional voids, through fissures in our need for external approval. But when we apply principles of Japanese minimalism, these cracks close. Like kintsugi, the art of repairing ceramics with gold, our financial wounds can become more beautiful and resistant than before they broke. True financial elegance lies not in how much we spend, but in how much we consciously choose not to spend. It is not about having everything. It is about having enough, and knowing that enough is abundant. When I walk through Beverly Hills and see women carrying shopping bags worth more than many monthly salaries, I do not see success. I see souls seeking external validation for internal worth that no purchase can provide. True luxury is the ability to say no to what the world insists we need. The most radical act in our consumption-obsessed society is contentment. It is choosing to find joy in what we already possess, beauty in spaces that breathe, peace in closets that do not overflow. This is not about deprivation. It is about intention. Every morning, I wake up in my Torrance home and practice gratitude for what I have rather than anxiety about what I lack. My dining table holds not expensive centerpieces, but the warmth of shared meals. My walls display not expensive art, but photographs of moments that matter. If you desire to cultivate a life with more lightness, sophistication, and intention, learning about minimalism and financial elegance in a serene and inspiring manner, please leave your like and subscribe. Together, we can transform the unhealthy relationship with money into an elegant romance with life. Now tell me, can you identify which of the 3 wounds bleeds most in your budget? Leave it in the comments. And if this content made sense to you, write Light Living, so I understand I can create more videos about conscious finances. Remember, wealth is not about what you can afford to buy. It is about what you can afford to refuse. Until our next conversation, may it happen in a lighter life with much more intention.